I don't do presentations a lot, unless and until you're going to pay me for it. That means, I need to raise funds for my next venture. So I don't think y'all are a bunch of guys who are going to pay me a lot of money, right? So I'm going to make this really quick and small. So today it's not a lecture. I am not a guru in entrepreneurship. I don't know much about entrepreneurship. I'm actually on that side along with y'all. I was fortunate enough to start a small company back in India along with my wife, who is my boss and will remain my boss. And that goes on record. So it was a small company called Power Spa. We started in 2008 as India's first and only mobile spa, where we took the entire service of the spa service right to our target audience. We have a small 4-minute video. Okay, one of the big media channels back in India decided to probably, make a interesting story about us, or probably just, have a good laugh on us, and they came over and they sort of took a small interview. I will leave you with this first. This will just give you a quick glimpse on what we did and how we went around, because this was somewhere in 2010. So by that time we had sort of established a new market, because before us there was not a single mobile spa in the country. So there were 1 billion people who were without any mobile spa services, and that was the market that we thought we will achieve. We didn't reach anywhere close to that. But anyways, just have a look at this video, then probably we'll just have an open Q&A. More to tell you about where we screwed up. That shouldn't be on record. And what else that we could have done to make it better. And if those learnings can help you all, whenever you start whatever venture you want to start, because the ethos of entrepreneurship and a startup and great stuff that we do and screw ups are more or less the same. So I'll just leave you with this.
Large sprawling massage rooms, big bubbling jacuzzi, and a big investment. Not quite. Former Kingfisher employee Pankaj Sharma's Power Spa shows us all how one can set up a spa with a very small investment.
In 2006, there was no foot spas, or there were no spas which can give you value for money, propositions. And that's where the concept came up that, how about we setting up a spa? But since real estate was really expensive that time, and we couldn't go into a model where we invest in real estate, we said, how about, a unique proposition where the spa goes to you. You just call up and, someone lands up in your office or at your home. Rather than you going to the spa.
He started his venture with a capital expenditure of just 15 lakhs, which was invested primarily in equipment and artifacts. And as he found out, the mobile spa came with its own set of unique advantages. A strategy which clearly worked, with the company breaking even in the first year. Apart from mobile spas, Power Spa also has a model which they like to refer to as the brains, hand and feet model, where they associate themselves with existing health clubs, hotels and resorts.
We basically use our brains, our hands, our legs and our heart to set up the entire place for them, right from architectural, designing, interiors, technical support, equipment, recruitment of staff, training of the staff, and then launching the spa and then managing the spa. So the partner basically comes in with the space and with the investment into the property. So revenue sharing ranges from a 70-30, so 70% towards them, 30% towards us, to a 50%, so 50-50. So it's 50% there, then 50%.
With this model, they've tied up with clubs like C'est La Vie and Peninsula Park in Mumbai and the Terraces Resort in Uttarakhand.
it's benefited us in terms of taking the stress out of running the spa. You know, if I had to, like my F&B and every other thing that I have to handhold and take care of myself in terms of hiring the staff, training them, you know, watching over them, making sure that they're performing, you know, to what they're supposed to be doing, I don't need to do that for the spa. So I'm guaranteed that kind of efficiency and that workmanship which I expect.
How we do human management with y'all?
An aspect they've really focused on is training staff, something that Pankaj believes is the biggest challenge for spa owners in the country. Power Spa has certainly got off to a soothing start. Revenues of 35 lakhs in the first year, moving up to 70 lakhs in the second, hitting 1.2 crores in the third. These customers are certainly impressed with some of the innovative services they offer.
It was very relaxing.
And the fact that you can actually come and do this in 15 to 20 minutes just makes it a lot more convenient.
It was like a dry massage concept.
It's been a good start and there is certainly a lot of work ahead. For Pankaj, there is no doubt he needs all the pampering he can get.
Yeah, those were good days. I used to get one massage every day. So, yeah. So this is an open session today, guys. As I said earlier, this venture was started with a very simple concept, and for any budding entrepreneur, and I'm assuming quite a lot of y'all are. How many of y'all actually have your own startups already up and running? Great. So y'all guys need to be out of the room, because if I bullshit, you will catch that. So the other guys can stay back. So the 5, you can just move on to the other side. It starts obviously with an idea, okay? And the learnings that I'm going to share is going to be more on what we did right, which was very little of that, and what we did wrong, which was quite a lot of that. So it starts with an idea, as any entrepreneur would want to, and we believe in that idea. We love the idea, but unfortunately, what happens is that we fall in love with the idea and we marry the idea. Okay, marriage is a forbidden word. Please stay away from it. With your idea, okay, you need to bounce it off. So, and that's what big mistake that probably I also did. When the eureka moment happened, that oh wow, mobile spa, it doesn't happen in India. Let's just start this. We shared it with few people. They all got excited because it was a fresh idea, a new idea. We started the entire business. We quit our jobs. We entered it, and slowly we realized that it's a great idea, to probably chat with someone and get people excited. But does it have scalability? Okay, will it take the entire venture from 0.5 to 0.50? How much time will it take? What are the resources I need? How much? And I'm not talking about only money. I'm talking resources, because very soon we realize that the idea that we have taken up is a very labor intensive, right? I need masseurs who are trained and qualified to take it to the next level. So this was a big learning that we realized after we decided to start the venture and jump into it. However, that's what probably entrepreneurship is all about. You follow your gut feeling, you take it up, and you go forward. Another learning is flexibility. Okay, we need to innovate while we are moving. So if you don't have a lot of resources and a lot of funds, it's always good to start small. Okay, with whatever limited funds you have, beg, borrow, steal from friends and family and ex-lovers. Take that money, start somewhere. Okay, that's the first step. Just start somewhere, but be ready to be flexible and innovative on the way. So when we started Power Spa, we said, okay, India's first in mobile spa, very unique, very refreshing. A lot of people got excited. We started the business. Soon we realized that, it's not taking us to the next level. So we said, okay, let's innovate. And this is in 2005, 2006, 2007, when spas were big in India, but they were more in 5-star hotels and resorts. And suddenly there were a lot of people, whom I knew were starting their own day spas. and they didn't have the knowledge and expertise. So in the 2 years of our startup, what we gathered is a lot of information, a lot of knowledge, a lot of learnings, and we said, okay, why don't we also create a different model where we will service them and set up spas for them, okay, with our learning, because we have gone through the grind of 2 years of understanding. So we tweaked it so that we can at least get some revenues going on while we're trying to, build a mobile spa business. So that's another huge learning for us, where we said, okay, let's be flexible, let's be innovative. Now, when you do that, two things can happen, okay? Either you'll find something more interesting and something which will probably drive your business, or either you'll get lost, okay, or confused at what are we doing. Are we going to give consultancy services to other people, or are we going to drive the mobile spa, the uniqueness model? It happened to us again, okay? We were getting business from here while the mobile spa was also doing well. So we were slightly in between, okay, for a long time. We didn't know where to concentrate. What should be our pitch to an investor? So when we used to go to an investor, I used to talk about mobile spa, consultancy, or we also doing training for a couple of spas. And that led, to a lot of confusion in our heads, as well as if I'm pitching it to an investor, because they were like, okay, so you started here, you are here, now you're going here, but it's not only mobile spa, now you've moved to 5 other things. So while that was exciting for us, because like, oh, how cool are we, right? We started one business and now we're doing 5 other things and we're getting money for it, But for an investor, it was not as cool as for us, right? So what they saw is, someone who started somewhere is now just going all over the place and doesn't have focus. Obviously, in those pitches and presentations, I made it realize that, you don't understand anything. It's my idea. I understand. I know where I'm taking it. But unfortunately, that doesn't go well with investors. So that's another thing. So if you're being flexible, you're being innovative, you're ready to change the course, just remember that there has to be a core value to your business. Okay, you have to come back to it, and you have to keep on working on that. Another huge learning: low cost, which I think in Australia is going to be a challenge for any ventures, not in India. But I think that's what entrepreneurship is all about. You figure out where to cut corners and where to cut costs. And it's difficult in India also, especially in a city like Bombay, which is a very expensive place to start your business and venture in. However, we kept on looking at that. And I'll give you small examples like, so when we started, we said, okay, let's keep all the costs internal, okay? So that means you have to rely on collaborations. It's not easy for a startup to just go and, pay someone and say, okay, you there, you're hired. Come on, start working. This is the money I'm going to give you. It's not possible because you don't have the resources. So you need to collaborate, you need to inspire. So what we started doing is, obviously we started networking with the right people, okay, who had a vision to what we were trying to drive. Plus they also had entrepreneurial, aspirations. But they didn't know where to start. So what we did is I went to a friend and I knew he wants to start a company, okay, but he can't start on his own. So I said, okay, let's collaborate. This is a venture. I can give you sweat equity. Why don't you come on board and work with us, okay? And after 2 years, we can easily part ways in case you want to move and start your own venture. So what it gave us is great resources to work with us. Plus, it was a very clear understanding that, listen, you want to learn entrepreneurship, not at your money, at my money, because I've started the venture already, okay? But it's a very clear understanding that, okay, after 2 years or after a year, you will go to start your own venture, which is okay with me as long as it's not in the competing field, okay? So collaborations worked really well for us. We kept our cost low because I didn't employ, apart from the masseuse, we didn't employ a lot of overheads, okay? So I had an HR expert working with us. I had a marketing, while I'm a marketing expert, I still got one marketing person to work with us. I had someone who was into legal and resources and various other things. And I got someone into training. So if you can collaborate in the start, inspire people, have a very clear understanding that, even if you can't do the entire journey, you can leave whenever you need. I think it works well. It worked well for us. Okay. More to failures. It's a long list, and we have not much time. Overconfidence, as I said. Okay. You're not cat's whiskers. You don't know everything. Okay. Even confidence is good, but overconfidence is gonna kill you, and that happens inherently. That happens. I thought, it's a great idea, but when I used to meet people, they used to get excited. Okay, and that confidence became overconfidence, because when I used to go and meet, if I need funding or an investor or make a pitch to a corporate, okay, it just used to sound as if, and now I realize that in hindsight, when I sort of sit back and think what are the things which we didn't do, is this overconfidence that, listen, dude, this is, what are you talking about? Facebook, that's bullshit. This is it, okay? This is what's gonna change the world. It's not, okay? Whatever idea you have right now, it's not gonna change the world, believe me. Facebook is once in billion. So fact of life is, understand what potential of your venture is, period. Go from point A to point B and to C and to D, but after that, that's when you need to take that lead. For the first couple of years, your idea is, or your venture is not gonna change the world, and it's fact of life. Probably out of y'all, someone might just get lucky and get that big Google, Facebook, Apple, but fact of life is, no. I thought I would. I still think I've got 10 other ideas I'm working on, that all of them are gonna bang in Facebook, and I'm gonna take over, the biggest venture. It's not gonna happen. Now I've realized that listen, this will take to this level, and this will then move probably if I put in the learnings of my, earlier venture. I said, don't fall in love and don't get married to your venture. The biggest mistake I did is I remarried. I made the mistake once in my personal life, not to be put on record. And then I married, the venture which I started. Do not be married to your venture. It is the best thing. It's your baby, blah, blah, blah. You can use all those words, but do not get married. Stay away. It's always good to have an outside-inside perspective. And you will fall in love, you will get married, you will get overcommitted. That's the time you need to find an enemy or bunch of enemies. Okay? Who are every time gonna tell you, listen, this is the mirror, look at this. What bull crap are you talking about? Your venture is not gonna move anywhere, it's gonna stay here, because the way you're, sort of fostering it, it can just reach to a certain point. So find people who are your bouncing, boards, who are your mirrors, who are your enemies, who will cut you to size. Very, very important. It might sound gibberish to a lot of people right now, but I've gone through that. Okay. What do you know about entrepreneurship? Yeah. I don't know. I know about a venture which I started. We did well. And guess what? We sold it also to another spa company. So we have been, I wouldn't say successful, but marginally smart enough to, start, flourish, sell, and get out. Okay. But don't get married to your idea. Okay. Find enemies, go share the idea, get feedback, and then relook at it again and again. Last. In fact, it's a long list, but let go. There would be a time where it's not moving anywhere, or there would be a time where you're sitting with someone and they say, okay, why don't I invest a small amount in it, or why don't you give me an X amount of stake? And because you're holding on to it so dearly, you don't let it go. And I remember there were great opportunities. I met a great guy, and a sensible guy, much more sensible than me. But we sort of spoke for, I think, interacted for nearly a year. Okay, where he came, he saw our concept, our idea, blah blah blah, and he said, okay, this is what you need to do, this is what you. But I never signed the dotted line. Okay, every time we used to sit, I used to think, okay, he's asking for so much stake, and what is he bringing on the table? And apart from the collaboration which I did with friends, which was much more easier, this was a very hardcore professional where he will put in what we call seed capital, and because he comes from a certain background. But I just couldn't sign the dotted line because, again, it was my idea. Why should I give you X stake? It's mine. I created it. I'm God. Why should I give it to you for 15-20% of stake for piddly amount of money? Okay, and it's the same information or knowledge you're sharing, which guess what, I know, right? But that's again a big mistake that at least I can say I created. Okay, that I couldn't let go of that X amount of stake. I found value in it. He was a sensible guy. He was well connected. He would have taken us to a different level in our venture, but I just couldn't let it go. And that happened that, not once, not twice, every time. Okay, unless and until we decided that, okay, we are moving to Australia, so I need to let go this venture. I can't be sitting and guess what, I even tried that. Oh, what if I sit in Australia and run the company there? Yeah, I tried that, to be really honest. But, as I said, I have a boss who kept on putting sense in my head. And finally, we sold it off to another spa venture, okay, similar to ours, who wanted to sort of expand. And it worked well for them, it worked well for us. So at the right time, irrespective, you might get a great deal or not a great deal. If you think it's reaching somewhere, and if that person can take it to a next level, let it go. Don't hold. Okay. I have much more to share about, failures more than success, because even when we have sold our company and we have been successful in that, I wouldn't want to call it a highly successful company or venture, because when I started, I wanted it, as I said, take over Facebook, which obviously didn't happen unless and until you all think it did. So in my head, okay, it's not reached anywhere close to that, so that's why it's a huge learning curve for me. Okay, this was our first venture, so it's a huge learning curve. I've got a whole list of examples and whole list of failures which I can sit here and I actually take a couple of hours to take you all through it. But I wouldn't want to do that because I have something more interesting which I want to show. So today it's not about Power Spa, it's not about me, it's about entrepreneurship. It's about understanding that around the world there are people with much less resources. Not only around the world, around you. So if you just do this, you'll probably touch someone, at least in India and Bombay, not in Perth because there are hardly any people around here, but, who don't have the resources that you have. Okay, and you only learn this once you meet those kind of people. You understand what they have done, what limited resources they have, and what they have gone ahead and created. Okay, so before I show you this small 10-minute, 30-second documentary, which I have created, it's a proper 10-minute movie that we shot on a street vendor in Bombay. This happened somewhere in 2011, 2012, where you will get a perspective, about his life and what he's gone through and how he's created a small, very teeny, mini, small business of his own. So before that, in fact, I just wanted to ask a few questions so that, probably later I will come back on this. Very quickly, what do we want out of this session? And as I said, it can't be one way because I talk a lot of gibberish stuff, a lot of people have told me. That's why I couldn't raise a lot of funds in my venture. So what do we want out of whatever 30-45 minutes that we have for this entire session, apart from obviously networking and exchanging numbers and cards and whatever? What do we want to take back apart from coffee and donuts, right? Which is not coming.
Which you're not providing.
Yeah, I know that.
You run it
It's conditions apply, which is not coming. Okay, you want to take back anything so that we look at those points and discuss in an open forum? Anyone?
Motivation.
Sorry?
Motivation.
Okay, motivation?
About, a lot of people using their day job to fund their startup.
Fabulous.
So where's that crossover? And, it's a big risk maybe losing a nice comfortable job to go and chase something that may or may not work.
Great point. I actually never thought about that. We did that, but yeah, okay. Okay. The last point. Whoever gets the last point gets this coffee sponsored by me. Someone was passing out the leaflet, so I thought I'll use it rather than throw it. Yeah. Third point. Anyone?
Should you work together with your wife?
Sorry?
Should you work together with your wife?
Okay. We will move along. We'll stick to the 2 points. So, now, how much fun do you all think it needs for you to start your own venture? The guys who have started already are obviously on a roll. Okay. Anyone here who's not yet started and can tell me approximately what's the kind of money you think you need to start your venture? Anyone?
Whatever it takes to get an MVP.
Give me a number, a figure.
200,000.
200,000. Anyone else?
Multiply by 8.
Sorry?
Now multiply by 8.
Multiply by 8. Okay.
Say enough for Wi-Fi, a laptop, and the main name basic.
Fabulous. So what? $2,000? 3,000? Okay, 2,000. So now that's a sensible figure I can relate to start up. Anyone else? 20-30,000. Okay. What's the motivation required to start your venture? Why do you want to leave your cushy job to start a venture?
Autonomy.
Creativity.
Autonomy.
Okay. What else?
And more than your cushy job.
More than your cushy job. Okay. And last question before I move is, okay, what kind of competencies or resources do you think, not money now, okay, that you need to start your venture?
A bit of everything, unfortunately.
Sorry?
A bit of everything, unfortunately.
Bit of everything. An all-rounder? What else? What kind of resources that you think you need? Or what kind of, infrastructure that you need? What kind of education you need? What kind of knowledge you need?
You just need resilience, relentless resilience.
Fabulous. You had a lot of coffee early morning. You're the only one who's awake. Any other resources? Grounded focus. Okay. These 3 questions, okay, I ask myself every time. Okay. I came up with gibberish answers as always. But when I saw this small street vendor doing exactly what a lot of other people around me were doing, with a lot of more resources, something happened. I just wanted to, tell his story to a lot of people, okay, so that hopefully, if that can inspire one person, okay, because this gentleman who I'm going to showcase now inspired me, and I was like, man, if he can do it, I can do it again and again and again, okay. So hopefully you'll get your 3 answers after seeing this. If not, hard luck. I hope you all understood some parts of the movie. Yeah. Were those questions answered? Or any of those that we said, what does an entrepreneur require to start? While it's a very subjective question, obviously situations are different, right? But if you take the entire perspective, did it answer your question?
It's a bit of a different environment, isn't it?
Sure, but as I said, in terms of, it's a very subjective thing. He needed not more than $100 to start, right? If you would have given him $1,000, he could have started still, or 2,000 or 10,000. In his capacity and his capabilities, uneducated, someone who's just been 4th grade, ran from his hometown to come to Mumbai. He could have done what lot of people at that category in terms of, strata of income worked for someone, okay, probably as a sweeper, cleaner, multiple jobs. But he said, no, let me decide what I want to become. Okay, let me start a venture where there is a need, okay, in a certain location where there are youngsters hanging around and who want this. So sandwiches basically, it's like a Subway, but it's, locally made on street stalls. It's one of the on-the-go kind of food. Okay, so he decided that he needs to do something. So his motivation was he needs to give a better life for his brothers and he needs to buy a house in Bombay. That was his motivation. He didn't have much resources. He just had $100. That's about it, more or less. He had an idea, okay. But if you, I don't know if you could feel that that what he's doing, and what got my attention is because suddenly anyone has been to India from here? Okay, so when you go to India, there are a lot of street vendors, right? They're all over the place, doing their business. But you will never find a 19-year-old boy, okay, hair gelled with headphones, okay, when his cart is beautifully colored with branding, okay, and he's going around doing his work, chilling and having fun with youngsters. And guess what? And I've seen that. He's doing business. Because he figured out that, my target audience are the young guys like me, okay, who don't mind giving, 50 cents for a quick sandwich, okay. So let me take that kind of coolness into my business, create a Redboxx, that's what his brand is called. He's got his own Facebook page. He's got a menu card. He's starting home delivery last when we spoke, So when I went and took the first sandwich from him and I saw, oh, this is cool, He's got a menu card, he's got a Facebook page. He has these promotions once a month where you come and you can eat as much as you want. You just need to pay $100. That's not even $2. Okay, and you can come during the day and eat 5 sandwiches. Okay, so if you and I've worked with some big companies like Viacom and Paramount Studios and Procter and Gamble, and if I use my learnings and I replicated what he was trying to do, and I'm like, fabulous. This is so cool. He's not started this because he couldn't do anything. He started this because he wanted to do it. Okay, so that sort of is something which I drew inspiration from, and as we all draw different inspiration from different people and different, there are different trigger points. So this was my trigger point, where I was in the dumps. I was doing my day job, trying to run a company, doing well, but not reaching where we wanted to. And I was like, gosh, I don't have this, and I don't have that, and I don't have the money, blah, blah, blah. And then I just happened to meet him. Okay, and I said, okay, this is awesome. Let me just create a small documentary and share with whoever wants to probably see it. Yeah, that's about it, guys. It's something which, it was a calling which I wanted to do. I came up, took in few people, put in our own resources and money, created this. However, this is not the end. And once you become or turn an entrepreneur, so you will realize that there's never an end. It's addictive, right? You try to, so before you get into it, I would say think before you leap, because you will never go back. You will never go back. So you might do day jobs and all, but you will remove all the time to start and create things around you. Okay, and that has led me, and I've been thinking for last 6 months that what do I do with this movie? And people kept on asking me, okay, what are you going to do with this movie? Are you going to showcase it, sell it, blah, blah, blah? I'm like, I have no freaking idea. It just inspired me. I put in some, $3,000, $4,000 and created this movie. I don't know what I want to do. And fortunately, I think this is a forum which has again inspired me. Meetup, I've just been for one before. And I was here last time, and I met a couple of, I don't know if they're not here actually, the guys who I met last time. I scared them off. When I met them, I was like, this is a great place. There are entrepreneurs, guys with ideas, guys who understand technology, guys who understand legal, on one table discussing. Let me take this movie to the next level. And what I've done is one of my new concepts which I'm trying to create, which I've registered, is called $100 Ventures. Okay, and this is what I am going to drive, apart from what I do otherwise, where we're going to create unique, small, 5-minute movies about people across the world, okay, who have started with less than $100, and it's a lot of money, guys. I'll tell you because I've been on that side for a long time in terms of Indian rupees, and if you go to Southeast Asia or South America or wherever, Africa, it's a lot of money. So $100ventures.org, it's going to be a non-profit organization, okay, where we are going to look at these ventures, create small movies about them, and we are going to look at microfinancing them, okay, about their needs, and if we can take them from point A to point B, because they are struggling to just go to the next level, okay. At the moment, I'm the only guy who's running it. Okay, as I said, between 2 Wednesdays back and now, I've gone and I've registered and did all that because it just looked like the right forum. And what I'm proposing, before I get kicked out of this place, I'm looking for co-founders. Anyone interested, be my guest, meet me, let's discuss, and let's see if we can inspire more people around the world to get into entrepreneurship, because the reason of this was to inspire more people to say, he doesn't have resources, he doesn't have knowledge, he's doing it, why can't you? And if you're sitting on the fence, just take that leap. Okay, so open for co-founders, anyone interested to come and join me and work on this, where we will look at creating these small movies across the world and looking at microfinancing. Yeah, thank you so much for your time and your patience. Thank you.